So with IBD, or inflammatory bowel disease, doctors typically say, manage it medically, forever, the end. Now the reality is there's a lot you can do with diet that can help. Sure, your diet, and typically nothing you did necessarily was the cause of IBD, but diet and eating pattern is critical in helping manage symptoms and helping keep the IBD under control. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today in this video. My name is Joe. I'm a dietitian. I run the world's leading online dietitian consulting service that specializes in digestive disorders and gut health. If you've been diagnosed with IBD and you want to learn about the best ways to manage it naturally, then make sure you continue to watch this video. At the end, I've also got a free guide which expands on what I talk about here about diets for IBD that you can get. So firstly, just quickly, IBD is inflammatory bowel disease, not to be confused with IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. IBS doesn't have any physiological damage. When you do a scope in a colonoscopy, anything like that, you don't actually find damage. That's why IBS is a syndrome, not a disease. Typically with IBD, we see physical damage and inflammation in the digestive tract, in the colon, and this inflammation is part of and also triggers symptoms. There are several types of bowel disease. Typically, we're working with those with ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, and some other types of colitis as well, like microscopic colitis or collagenous colitis in particular. Now, as you may have suspected, there are a range of eating patterns that can help to reduce inflammation in the digestive tract and therefore help to reduce your symptoms. And there's a lot of early evidence for these eating patterns specifically helping bowel disease. It's not just anecdotal, it's not just what we've heard someone say or what we've seen from patients, although that is interesting in itself, how our patients respond, but there is also early evidence for several of these that I'm about to talk about. So the first one is a specific carbohydrate diet, or SCD, and it basically is a diet that removes large carbohydrate molecules, like really long ones that can typically be more difficult for your digestive tract to break down. So the thought is by removing these, it doesn't demand so much of your digestive tract, I suppose, and therefore it's just easier to tolerate. There is some promising early evidence for this, and it can be worth a try so long as you're getting the correct guidance. Number two is the anti-inflammatory diet. Now, this is actually more of a modern version of the specific carbohydrate diet. It's kind of like a spin-off in that it uses the same principles, but it also adds in probiotics, prebiotics as well. So probiotics are healthy bacteria that is good to have in certain circumstances, and prebiotics, which is the food that the bacteria in your gut feed on to grow. And we want to grow more of those good or healthy bacteria. So the anti-inflammatory diet is also useful, but with probiotics and things, you have to be careful. And the third one is a low FODMAP diet. You've probably heard of it. This is a diet specifically designed to treat IBS and IBS-like symptoms. So it involves eliminating a type of carbohydrate, which is a short-chain carbohydrate. And FODMAPs is an acronym to describe those. And you're basically removing them, seeing what symptoms you have or what gets resolved, and then strategically reintroducing them back into your diet one by one to see, well, what was the trigger? And then that sort of dictates where you go from there. Just because you react to one doesn't mean you need to cut it out forever. And usually we can actually retrain your system to help. But we find a lot of overlap with people who have IBD have IBS as well, because everything is so irritated. So removing those FODMAPs allows you to really get on top of your symptoms there, and then you can be very strategic about figuring out, well, what am I really sensitive to right now? And maybe I should limit that. And the only way to get clarity is via the low FODMAP diet, the elimination and reintroduction process, which you should do with dietitian guidance. And that's what your gastroenterologist will recommend. There's no food sensitivity tests or a quick testing that is proven effective. The science is just absolutely not there yet at all. We have clients who have done the tests who are like, I don't actually agree with half of the results here. And then sure enough, when we go through the diet with them, it doesn't match up to those test results at all. So just so you know, there's not really a shortcut there. The evidence for a FODMAP diet with IBD, it's promising, but it's very early stage. They've not necessarily done, at least the time I'm recording this, clinical trials with a low FODMAP diet for IBD that I can think of, but it certainly does help with the IBS symptoms. The SCD and anti-inflammatory diet, they're also, all of this is early stage. Unfortunately, with IBD research and funding, it's like there's not a lot of research in human trials. They do a lot of animal studies, and of course there's observational where they kind of observe a group of people and see what happens and try to match things. But as long as diets do no harm, that's kind of my philosophy. If the diet's not going to do any harm and has potential great upside, then I can see it being useful for you, and I certainly see a reason why you may want to try that. The catch is it has to do no harm, so that includes not doing a diet longer than is necessary. And so that means actually working with a professional who knows what they're doing, who can make sure that you don't go too far the wrong direction or become too restrictive, because with gut health, with the gut bacteria and the gut microbiome, that balance, if we are too restrictive for too long, it creates other issues, and that could make things more complicated. So I just want to emphasize that. Okay, so that was a very brief summary of a few diets or eating patterns. If you feel overwhelmed, confused, that's okay, that's normal. Start with my guide. My written guide is much more thorough and goes into more details. So if you want the guide, just comment IBD guide. Comment that and I can send it to you, or you can direct message me and write IBD guide, and I know to look out for your comment and what you need, and I can send you the guide that way. And if you are interested then in more individual help, make sure you contact me, send me a message, and we can learn more about you and see what we can do. Oh, one last thing, if you found this useful, make sure to give the video a like or a heart, and make sure to follow and subscribe as well.